Verde lajša bolečino in oteklino pri vnetju v ustni votlini in žrelu.
Pred uporabo natančno preberite navodilo. O tveganju in neželenih učinkih se posvetujte z zdravnikom ali s farmacevtom.
Onitek zdravilni lak za zdravljenje zmernih do blagih glivičnih okužb nohtov. Brez piljenja, brez odstranjevanja laka. Onitek. Resne težave imajo lahko tudi enostavno rešitev. Pred uporabo natančno preberite navodilo. O tveganju in neželenih učinkih se posvetujte z zdravnikom ali farmacevtom.
Once again this year we have asked two representative Austrian subsidiaries to describe the situation in Slovenia from their point of view. So first I'd like to welcome Mrs. Lahne. She is chairwoman of the managing board of Merkur zavarovalnica, a very traditional insurance company from Graz that is primarily active in the field of health insurance. And second, hello to Iztok Juvan, the regional CEO of BE-terna automation. BE-terna is a leading service provider for intelligent and scalable automation solutions, software bots and artificial intelligence. And the head office is located in Innsbruck. Welcome. Thank you also for being here and sharing your experience with us. May I now ask Mrs. Lahne to give her impression of the situation in Slovenia and how life for insurance companies has maybe changed, especially last year?
Thank you. As you already introduced a little bit about ourselves, we are an insurance company working in Slovenia since 1991, so since the beginning almost of the country. And we are working mostly in the personal lines of business, but also in the properties. So in year 2023, it was not an easy year for our business because there has been quite severe changes in the operation in Slovenia. First started with the changes in the legislation regarding supplementary insurance, for which we haven't been hit as we were not working in this line of business. And secondly, with the flooding and all the political agenda that came with the flooding. So from my experience and how all of these situations were taken care of is that there was quite a lot of, let's say, rash decisions in 2023 with the promise of maybe in some areas for further discussion that will follow, which I did not see happening. For example, health insurance, there is still a missing discussion. There is still a missing discussion as we are coming from the private sector, especially how to regulate the private sector. And our experience is that if we don't allow for discussion about private sector and we don't allow for its existence, it still exists. And it still means that it's part of the business done in Slovenia that has to be regulated and is currently not regulated quite a lot. So we are missing this kind of discussion. Expert discussion, not political discussion, but really expert discussion. And we are hoping that 2024 will bring this discussion further back on the table. And then maybe the second thing that was expressed also by the survey is regarding the working situation. We have also seen in the media very bad reaction of employers and employees over the changes in the working time and we have experienced this also in Slovenia. What I have to say in this respect is, for example, we are the representative of a service company which is, let's say, offers a higher added value. That means that we also offer our job to experienced professionals, intellectuals. Maybe this would work out 30 years ago, because 30 years ago we Slovenians were mostly workers, but we have invested as a country so much in the education, and that we are now discussing only about workers and not about the people who are dealing in the intellectual industry, and it's totally different type of legislation. It needs flexibility. I mean, there was such a bad reaction about this legislation from our employees, which then conflicted in, you know, going into situation where there is no trust between employee and an employer. I believe of course, there are cases of bad employers. However, majority of us, we try to take our employees into consideration and take very good care of them, because for service industries, they are the crucial part of our business. And we are at the same time talking about also about ESG, as social is also considering employees. We are discussing about how to add value to our employees with, for example, inclusion in the collective insurance coverages, about providing them with exercise, all of this discussion, and at the same time we are checking on whether they are sitting at the coffee and whether they check their time when they went for the coffee. So these are the topics where I think that we, as the Slovenians, have to think about what kind of society we are and what we want to be in the future, because this is definitely not year appropriate discussion, I would say. These are a few short words from my side.
Thank you very much.
Iztok, very difficult to say something after both of you, because you described everything so well and you gave such a good insight. But let me give a perspective, maybe because I come from another industry, IT, maybe it's a bit different. Maybe I will try to give a bit more positive note. It's not that was negative, but again, let me first maybe introduce or say a few words about our company. We started our business in Slovenia in the 1990s as a, let's say, young, fresh startup, more or less at that time. The name of the company at that time was d.o.o.sta, and we were acquired 4 or 5 years ago by BE-terna, Austrian company B-terna. So, that was really kind of positive for us, because it opened for us many other opportunities in Central and Western Europe. So now we have reached, because of this M&A, we have a reach in DACH region, we have reach in Nordics countries, and of course we were present in Adriatic region also before. We provide software services and consulting services for our clients, mostly some big clients in Slovenia, but also in other parts of Europe. We are heavily investing in AI and modern technologies. As you know, this is basically the name of the game today. But now maybe a few reflections about the situation in Slovenia. So, on one hand, I'm quite lucky, because I come from the industry which is now last 20 years very, let's say, successful in a way. Digitalization has now really is on the way, so companies need to invest into digital solutions. You know that now we are talking that we say that every company is now more or less software company, because companies are using software very extensively. So we see this trend of people educating in IT, in digital products and so on. So these are the very promising times for companies that are now in IT services. However, the competition is very strong, and it's difficult to really get really new clients, big new clients. But these are more or less problems present from very beginning, right? Few words about Slovenia and the environment. First positive thing is that I still think that Slovenia is a very safe country. So we live in a safe environment. We can freely walk in our cities and around our country. So this is very positive. So we don't need to worry about our life and about our security, more or less. The second positive thing I would say is that our employees or our population in general. Now I'm speaking only about the population I'm working with is good educated, and I can say that our education system is still very good, because I have opportunity to speak with many young talents, and I see that there is a lot of knowledge around, so people are still talented, our education system is good. I can now compare with other countries, because we have reached also other countries, and I have colleagues in Nordic countries, in DACH region, in those countries, and I see that the level of knowledge we have, or our employees have, is absolutely comparable. It's on the same, or sometimes in some areas also on a higher level. So nothing to be worried about that we are something lacking here. So I still am very much convinced that our system is great, and that we produce good and talented people. So what we are lacking of number of these talents. So our school systems doesn't produce enough those employees, future employees. For example, in my industry, in computer science, we are producing too less of them, right? So, for example, I don't know, maybe number around 100 per year, it's too small. So absolutely cannot compete on the global scale. Now the last point would probably be a few words about the political situation in Slovenia and the impact on the business. We heard a lot, but I can only confirm that there are some things that are for us in our industry difficult to manage. Of course, the taxation is one. Then it's very difficult to give salaries if you work by the rules, and we need to do it, we are doing it, and if you do by the rule, then it's not comparable to our countries. And what Corona brought is, of course, that many of also our ex-employees, they decided to work remote from their home office. For companies in states or in DACH region or wherever, they simply open in Slovenia this self-employed entrepreneur or something like that. I don't know how to say it properly, but you understand what I mean. SP, right? Yeah. So SP. And of course they can earn a lot of money working for companies abroad. And this is, if you say that we see this trend that the brains of our company are going outside, this is the very true example. People are not leaving the country, but the brains are somewhere else. So this is for me probably the biggest issue, and it's very difficult to keep people in the company because they have no better options. Options in terms of how to earn money. It's not that they are not necessarily more happy, and because they lose this let's say environment where they have colleagues around, and when they have some kind of routine. They that work probably in different time zone or something like that, but still money is very appealing for at least few years, and then they could also come back, and we will open our take them back. Maybe the last thing that is really causing some issues, this time unpredictable. One day we hear something, next day we hear something else. Some news are announced, and then next day changed. I really hate this idea around time registration, so we all struggle with it, and of course in our industry for employees, to make them work in from 8 to 2 or in some. We really need to support the flexibility because this is more or less creative work, and they work whenever they feel good and when they are creative. And we never had any issues with that, and we have open door policy. People come into office whenever they feel like so, and they work in the evening or early in the morning, so it's up to them. So we never, and this would be really a huge change if we will say, now you go, you would like to drink a coffee, then you need to register some time off or something like that. So it's completely off and unacceptable, and I think that there is a lot of criticism around it, and I hope that something will change in this manner. So I hope that I give you some positive, but also some realistic picture of where we are. Of course, it differs from industry to industry, but yeah.
Thank you very much. I would like to add to the whole situation that, of course, Slovenia is in a more difficult situation than other countries, because on the one hand we have a difficult development internationally. Yeah, so there are factors that Slovenia cannot influence, but they have an impact on what's going on in Slovenia. And then, in addition, you had these the floodings in August that definitely had a strong impact on the entire economic policy. But this is basically what the government and politicians are elected for, that they also manage a crisis. And this one definitely for Slovenia is very severe. But thank God, Slovenia is a wealthy country, and the people have great solidarity. So working together, the situation will improve. But of course, these floodings were an additional burden on the development of the country.
Tantum verde lajša bolečino in oteklino pri vnetju v ustni votlini in žrelu.
Pred uporabo natančno preberite navodilo. O tveganju in neželenih učinkih se posvetujte z zdravnikom ali s farmacevtom.
Onitek zdravilni lak za zdravljenje zmernih do blagih glivičnih okužb nohtov. Brez piljenja, brez odstranjevanja laka. Onitek. Resne težave imajo lahko tudi enostavno rešitev. Pred uporabo natančno preberite navodilo. O tveganju in neželenih učinkih se posvetujte z zdravnikom ali farmacevtom.